people's unaffected with the extra knowledge they gain over time?
I mean, proportionate or inversely
As
proportionate?
you get more knowledgeable and as you learn more are the choices and more are your thoughts. And doesn't that confuse people more over time?
I thought knowledge means clarity, not confusion. Isn't it?
No, I agree. I think it makes sense when you say it, but I also feel that as you…
No, that means they're not gaining knowledge. They're becoming a jumble, they're becoming a mess. Bits and pieces of information, maybe they're making a mess out of themselves. If you truly become knowledgeable, it should bring clarity, not confusion, isn't it so? The very purpose why you go after knowledge is because you want clarity in that area of life. If it is bringing confusion, why go after it? It is not knowledge which is bringing confusion, it is unbridled thought which is bringing confusion. Now thought is not in your control, you don't have the turn on switch and turn off switch, it is simply going on endlessly. If you could turn on this mind when you want, turn it off when you don't want, this would be a fantastic instrument. But now it's simply on. You have no choice about it, you can't ignore it, it's just going on and on and on, which is making it such a mess, isn't it? So it's not the mind which is the problem, it is not knowledge that is the problem, it is not the accumulation of information which is problem, your inability to handle it, that is the problem, isn't it? Could you live better without a mind? Not true, isn't it? Could you live better without knowledge? Not true, isn't it? Could you live better without any information about life? Not at all true, isn't it? It is just that you have lost your ability to have a hold on it, that is the problem, isn't it? You have lost your ability to have a hold on it simply because you have no distinction between who you are and what you have gathered. You have gotten so identified with things that you have gathered, there is no experience of yourself. You are so identified with things that you have accumulated, you have become the things that you have gathered. When I say you have become the things that you have gathered, let's look at it this way. Right now, your physical body, this body, when you were born, it was only this much. Now it became this much. How? How did it happen?
Nourishment.
I'm sorry?
Nourishment, nourishing the body.
Food. So what you call as my body is actually a heap of food. Not a pleasant way to describe you, but that's the way it is. It's an accumulation of food, isn't it? What you call as food is just a piece of earth. Yes? When I say piece of earth, you know all this countless number of human beings who lived on this planet before you and me came here, where are they? They're all just topsoil, isn't it? Right now, this body is just a piece of earth right now prancing around like this. So, your body is an accumulation, is it so? Yes, your body is an accumulation, slowly you gathered it. Your mind is also an accumulation. What you call as my mind is an accumulation of impressions that you have gathered. Yes? So your body is an accumulation, your mind is an accumulation. In these two heaps of food and impressions, where is you? There is no such thing. You got lost in these heaps and now you think these two heaps are you. So the question of using your body, the question of using your mind doesn't arise because you yourself are lost. If so much accumulation of physical body and mind has to happen, something more fundamental needs to be there, isn't it? Yes? Something more fundamental has to exist for you to gather something like this. But that dimension is never in your experience. Your whole experience is limited to what you have gathered. Your accumulation has become you. What you accumulate, can it be really you? Is it possible? What you accumulate, can it really be you? No, isn't it? Accumulation is something that you gather and something that you shed. See, right now, let's say you're 100 kgs of weight. Tomorrow you work yourself, let's say you come to yoga and we make you 65 kgs. If you lose this 35 kgs, still you're complete yourself, isn't it? A third of your body you lost, but still you're completely yourself, isn't it so? So what you have accumulated cannot be you. It is just an accumulation. But right now, you are believing and experiencing life as if what you have accumulated is you. So when you live in this kind of, whatever you call it, normally it's called ignorance, but I wouldn't like to use that word. When you live in this kind of an awareness, when you live in this kind of closed eyes kind of living, you living well is very accidental. For most people, if at all if they're happy, generally it's because people around them are too wonderful. By themselves, they would cause immense misery to themselves. But if one's experience goes beyond these two accumulations, the question of creating misery just doesn't arise. All the misery in the world is manufactured in your mind, isn't it? If at all if you know any misery, it has either entered you through your body or through your mind. Do you know any other kind of suffering? Physical and mental. These are the only two kinds of sufferings you know. Now, fundamental yoga means if you sit here, your body is here, your mind is there, what is you is always little away from it. There's a little space between you and your body. There's a little space between you and your mind. Once this space is there, this is the end of suffering. This human being cannot suffer because there is a little space between him and his body, between him and his mind. Suffering is finished. Once there is no fear of suffering, once there is no fear of what will happen to me, you can stride through your life without hesitation. Right now, every step that you take in your life, it is only a half a step because there is a fear, what will happen to me, what will happen to me, isn't it? If this one thing is taken away from your life, what will happen to me doesn't exist for you. Whatever happens outside, this is how you're going to be. Now, you can stride through your life to your full potential without any hesitation. Otherwise, constantly you're only taking half steps, never full steps. It'll change the very dynamics of your life.
Do you think that people who are honest or are honest and believe in doing good for others, even not necessarily in a philanthropist sense, they generally help others, they try to help others, are honest, try to be as truthful as possible. Probably sometimes they can't be in this world. Do you think that these are the people who are more aware about themselves or are a step higher on spiritual plane, if I can say?
No, not necessarily at all. See, people can do many things for many reasons. Can I tell you a joke?
Sure.
Okay. Some of you are so serious, I'm hesitating. Ravi gave a very bad description of all of you. He said they're like me, so I'm hesitating. See, people's actions are hidden in various types of intentions. Somebody is doing philanthropy to wash off his guilts. Somebody is doing philanthropy because he thinks if he gives, somebody has told him, if you give this much, 10 times will come back. Okay? Somebody is doing philanthropy to buy a ticket to heaven. Punyam will come. Now what's pap punya is there? Punya will come, you get a ticket to heaven. Somebody is doing it because that's his way to be happy. One person has learned the art of grabbing everything and being happy. Another person is seeing how to give and be happy. It doesn't matter which way. After all, you're still seeking happiness. So, what acts you do in the world has nothing to do with how you are within yourself. You know, most of the very organized crime, it grows because the people who organize this crime are always very philanthropic. Yes, always. All the godfathers in the world, they grew simply by being very philanthropic. What do you want? Okay, I'll give you. But tomorrow you have to repay it in some other way. Everything grows on philanthropy. So your actions could be for so many reasons. That's got nothing to do with how you are within yourself. How you are within yourself is independent of what you do. What you do has something to do with the situation in which you live. The type of action that you perform is related to the situations in which you live. It's got nothing to do with what you do. Now, I am not talking about what you should do in your life. You do whatever you please to do. But how to be within yourself, if you look at this, all of us want to be the same way within ourselves. We want to be happy, isn't it? What we want to do in the world, each one of us want to do different things. But how we want to be within ourselves, every human being wants to be peaceful and joyful, is that so? Whether he is a criminal or a policeman, both are wanting to be peaceful and happy, isn't it? So, I'm talking about the internal. When it comes to the internal, all of us want the same thing, and all of us are equally capable. When it comes to the external world, no two human beings are capable the same way. What you can do, I cannot do. What I can do, you cannot do. No two human beings are capable in the same way, isn't it so? But when it comes to the internal, all of us are equally capable. Each person is as capable as me to turn the internal into blissfulness. But such a thing has not happened because you never paid attention to it. The only reason why it's not happened is you never paid the necessary attention in that direction. But the very fundamental quality of your life is dependent on how you are within yourself, isn't it? See, right now the quality of your life is not in what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of car you parked outside, what kind of home you live in. The quality of your life right now is how peaceful and joyful you are right now, isn't it? Isn't that the quality of your life? It's for that you're striving, isn't it? But you never paid attention to it. You're always busy trying to fix the outside. Somewhere you believe if you fix the outside, everything will be okay. Affluent societies in the world, the Western countries, are a living proof that it doesn't work. Everything that can be fixed outside has been sufficiently fixed, but still people are not happy, isn't it? People are going insane. With all the fixing outside, people are just going crazy, isn't it? So, it's got nothing to do with what you do. What you do outside is your choice. But how you want to be inside, there's no choice. Everybody wants to be joyful. That's the way everybody wants to be.
Why is happening only to human beings, not to birds or…
Why we are not teaching bird yoga?
Why is it happening to oceans, the fish schools and schools of fishes are there? Why only these kind of sufferings, everything is happening to human beings? They are also creation.
Schools of fish?
There are millions and millions of fishes out there.
Yeah, they suffer on your plate, don't they?
They also have sufferings. No satsanga is going on there, no guru is there.
You already said schools of fish. Why do you say no satsang?
Group of fishes, that's called cool. That's what I mentioned. Lots of fishes out there.
So group of human beings with a certain intention, we call them satsang.
Yeah, I understand that, but why only human beings are being suffering like this?
Okay. See, life is happening on three fundamental ways. In yoga, we call this Mruga, Manushya, Deva. Mruga means animal nature, Manushya means human nature. Deva means divine nature. Animal nature is well established. Divine is too well established. What you call as human is a flux. It's neither here nor there. You can make anything out of it any moment. For example, a tiger is born. A tiger is not sitting and worrying its head out how to become a good tiger. Yes? Just find enough food, it'll become a good tiger, isn't it? All he has to do is just find enough food and he will always be a good tiger. You will never see a bad tiger. He is not insecure like you. Will I really become a good tiger? Will I end up as a house cat? There are no such struggles in him because his life is fixed. If he just finds enough food, he will naturally grow up into a good tiger. So you were born as a human being, but to become a good human being, how many things you should do? After doing all this, still you don't know where you belong, isn't it? Is it?
Mine also should have been fixed like Mirga and Devan. God when created, or creation when it's happened, should have been fixed for me also.
I will come, why it's not fixed? Oh. You want to go back in the evolutionary scale? You were like that, you know, Charles Darwin told you were all monkeys, your tail fell away. You were like that. You dropped the tail and took this choice. So, animal nature is fixed. Just if he takes care of the physical, the rest will happen for him. Divine is very well established. What you call as human, there is no such thing. There is no human being, please look at this. Human becoming. Either you can become one or not one, though you're in the human body, isn't it so?
So you're born as an animal and then you become…
I don't know about you. He says, I was born as an animal, then I became human. Please, don't go about revealing your breeding. So, what you refer to as human is not fixed in any particular way. That means it's a certain freedom. Because of this freedom, human beings are oscillating between the animal and the divine. Sometimes you're wonderful, sometimes you're ugly, sometimes you're beautiful, sometimes you're something else, because you're oscillating between the two different dimensions. You yourself as a human being really has no particular quality, please see. You can pick up anything and make it yours, isn't it? Yes? You can actually pick up any kind of quality and make it yours, and make it the right thing. See, you'll always be wondering, oh, how could he commit that crime? How could he kill like this? You need to understand, somewhere you can make that the right thing. You kill 100 people today and make it the right thing within you, very proudly you can kill another 100 people. People are doing it all the time, isn't it? Because human is not fixed anywhere. You can make anything out of it. If you were conscious, you would have naturally upgraded yourself. If you're unconscious, you will fall whichever way life situations evolve around you. So, right now you're suffering, Muthu, is not your bondage. What you're suffering is your freedom, unfortunately. And you're requesting me, why couldn't you make me like an animal? If my life was also fixed, all this struggle wouldn't be there. So what you're complaining is, you're complaining about your freedom, isn't it? freedom is a benediction if you are aware, and freedom is a great curse when you're unaware. So, now don't try to get rid of your freedom. Become aware and you will see this is a tremendous possibility. So, what you call as human is in a certain transitory state. Animal nature, divine nature, well established. Human is loose. It is like between the two trapeze bars, you know. So if you catch the other one, you're fine. If you don't, so that's the whole thing. If you fall down, again you climb up and again you swing and try to catch it. So punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. If you don't become aware, it's like an endless cycle of the same nonsense again and again and again. So when you're aware, when you're alive and awake here, you must do everything possible to enhance your awareness so that naturally you will move. If there was 1, 2, 3, the highest, the middle and the lowest, what's your natural aspiration?
The highest.
See, that's it. That's embedded in you, isn't it? Yes?
Yes.
Whatever little you know, in that you want to be highest, isn't it? So that quality has been infused into you. So with this, nature trusted your intelligence and thought anyway you will seek for the highest and gave you the freedom to choose. Shall we take away that freedom? If you're suffering your bondage, it's all right. If you're suffering your freedom, right now you're suffering your freedom, please see.